Okay, hi peeps, it's Tersse back in all squat box once again. This is a video mostly about the Israel-Gaza thing at the moment. Got a little bit of an analogy here. It's, I think it's a parable or something like that. I don't know if it's right. Wait. But Israel is like fishermen shooting fish in a barrel, you know. The Palestinians are trapped in 25 or 24 or 25 square miles. Their borders are closed. They can't leave. Nobody can enter. You can't take goods in there. You can't take medicines, food, water. Nothing, you know. So they are like in a barrel, you know. It's shooting fish in a barrel, basically. And while Israel was shooting fish in a barrel, hundreds were dying in Gaza, and there was only one death in Israel. For all the 1,100 rockets at the time that had been fired into Israel, one person had died. So the fish weren't very good at shooting back. And the only reason that you see the deaths, the 59 deaths that we've got now in Israel, is because the fishermen who were shooting fish in a barrel decided to jump into the barrel with their laser guided torpedoes and what do you call them? Fucking hell. You know, their laser guided arrow shooting fucking things. I can't remember them, you know. Spears, you know what I mean? Spear fishing. Anyway, yeah, I lost a bit wrong, but yeah. So it was only after the fishermen decided to jump in the barrel to get closer to the fish that you know, that they ended up seeing another 58 people die. If they had stayed out of Gaza, you know, the barrel, they could have continued to just bomb the hell out of Gaza and, you know, kill 2,000, 3,000, 10,000 people over the next fucking couple of months. You know, they didn't have to invade Gaza, they didn't have to put their soldiers in danger. They could have just stood back, you know. So basically Israel isn't just responsible for the deaths in Gaza, but they're responsible for the deaths of the Israelis who have died as well. Because before they decided to invade Gaza, as I said, they'd only lost the life of one Israeli. For all the rockets that the Hamas had fired, you know, 1,100 or something, Israel lost one life. I think it was 600 or 700 people had died in Gaza up to that point. Now it's 1,600 people are dead in Gaza, and I think it's 59 people have died, no, Israelis have died. But I think Israel, I think it's only 1 or 2 civilians are dead. But you look at Gaza and it's like 60-70% of the deaths are civilians. I don't know about you, but I just find this intolerable. I agree Israel needs to defend itself, but how you defend yourself against an aggressor speaks a lot to your morals. Morally, if I have a disagreement with somebody next door or somebody down the street, I don't go and throw a petrol bomb through their window and burn the whole family to death, you know what I mean? If I really seriously have a problem with one person in that household, I go after him. I find him when he's out in the street, out of his house, you know what I mean? And that's what the Israelis should do. I mean, how much does it take to organise a couple 100,000 people, you know, soldiers, you know, call up your forces like you're doing in Israel, give them all night glasses, you know, night vision, and watch for people coming out of the tunnels, mark the tunnels, wait till they're 100 yards or 200 yards away from the tunnel, kill them. Just now you've pinpointed that tunnel. Don't blow the tunnel up. You just put 50 soldiers there with fucking night goggles watching it, and every time somebody comes out of that fucking hole, you let them fucking get you on the jars of weight and then you kill them. Yeah, eventually they'll learn that they can't use that tunnel, but you just watch all the fucking area outside and, you know, night vision, and you'll catch them up. You'll catch them coming to the tunnels, and every time they send a soldier out of that tunnel to kill Israelis, you let them get far enough away from the tunnels so they think that, you know, yeah, they just walked into an ambush somewhere, you know what I mean? And you kill them. And that's Hamas you're killing then, isn't it? That's Hamas you're killing. I don't see the point of bombing and shelling from the sea and the land, you know, residential places. I know that you don't want the rockets coming over, but you've got to admit, the rockets aren't very dangerous. They're scary, but they're not that dangerous. But for you Israelis to bomb residential areas because somebody fired some rockets that never went anywhere, never killed anybody, I just find that intolerable to think of. And you've got to remember as well, I mean, we know that during the war, when we were fighting the Germans in the First and Second World War, you had a lot of people suffering from what we called shell shock back then. We now call it, what do you call it? I can't remember the name, but you know, battle fatigue basically, you know. I mean, I know people get frightened in Israel when the sirens go off and they're scared and they run to their bunkers or whatever it is. But it's not the same as being bombed. It's not the same as hearing and feeling the shockwaves of bombs falling around about you. That's what causes shell shock. I mean, I can't imagine what the mental health of the people in Gaza is like, never mind the deaths that have been caused, but the mental health of the children and the women and the innocent civilians in Gaza. I don't think there's enough money in America, Britain and Europe to pay for psychologists to help those people recover from what they're going through. And yes, Hamas are horrible fucking terrorist bastards, totally agree with that, but if that's your target, then you target them where you can get them away from the security of their human shield. You don't decide just to forget that the human shield are humans and murder them, which is what Israel is doing at the moment. I think Israel has just been in a kind of militaristic frame of mind for so long that they've forgot what it's like to live in a non-militaristic society. I think Israel needs to rethink its strategy. It needs to rethink the whole idea of how it protects itself. Especially whenever you make a mistake in your defence, you lose so few people. I don't think that gives you the legal right to murder and massacre hundreds, thousands of people because you're scared. I don't have the right to stab somebody in the street because I'm scared. It's still murder. Maybe in America you're allowed to stand your ground laws and all that, yeah, but Americans are fucking batshit crazy. I suppose the Israelis, the Zionists in America and the Zionists in Israel, they think like that. They're basically conservative, Republican, they've got that batshit crazy mentality that, if you look at me the wrong way, I'll get the right to kill you. That is what I think anyway, and I don't see that's any different from any of the mass murders in the world that you can look up in history. They've all been batshit crazy. They haven't thought rationally about it. Anybody who murders hundreds of civilians and then turns around and says, well, we're scared of them, It's no justification. I would be crying out if I was in the UN after seeing my own United Nations representatives in Gaza being murdered by Israel. I would be calling out to bring some of the echelons in the military and the political hierarchy in Israel up on charges of human rights abuse in The Hague. They deserve it. They absolutely deserve it. Just like the Nazis, just like the North Koreans, just like the Rwandans, just like the Bosnians, you know what I mean? Human rights violations, murdering innocent people in order to target one or two individuals or a rocket site. It's just not on, man. Just not on. When the IRA was bombing London and bombing their own fucking cities in Northern Ireland, you didn't see the British Army go in there and start shooting rockets and mortars. No. We tried to police it, we tried to keep the Protestants and Catholics apart, and that's what the UN's trying to do as well, but they're doing it without guns, you know what I mean? And there'll be guns and try to shoot the armed. But we had strict rules, okay, they were broken sometimes by some soldiers, but they, as you're seeing, have been brought up on charges even 30 years after they committed the offence. Have been brought up on charges. In Britain, they've still got, or just recently had, soldiers from the 70s brought up in charges. I think some of the Israelis need to be brought up in charges as well, human rights violations. This just can't be considered as a normal practice for the Israelis to just continuously shoot fish in a barrel. I think that they're justified because they lost a life or two, you know. In a conflict you will lose a couple of lives. You take that as we're in a war, you know. It doesn't mean you can just indiscriminately murder innocent civilians and say, well, we're justified because we were targeting, a couple of terrorists. Bill Clinton said as well that he knew at one time where Osama bin Laden was, and he was asked, should we attack and try and kill him, and he asked what the consequences were, and he was told the consequences were to make sure we get him, that a whole village would be wiped out. And Bill Clinton justifiably said, no, we're not going to take that step, we're not going to kill 90 or 1,100 people or whatever it was, to get one man. And Israel isn't justified in doing that. No matter how scared the Israeli people are, you're not justified in murdering hundreds of people because you're scared. That shows your weakness, and your weakness will be used against you, which it is being in propaganda around the world. You've fallen into the trap that Hamas set for you, and you didn't even stop to think about it for a minute. It just shows you how bad your thinking is, if that's the case. Anyway, so you are. And if you're watching this on the 3rd of August 2014, I'm just about to broadcast the closing ceremony of the Glasgow Commonwealth Games 2014, and I hope to catch you on my Google Plus channel to watch that and chat with me. Cheers guys.